sits there and he layers the meat up. He's got roast beef. He's got chicken. He's got teriyaki chicken breast. He's got a couple of others, and on top he puts about five layers of
this one too.
5 layers of pepperoni.
I know what.
And whenever we get finished layering it and baking it, it looks just like dragon scales on top of the sub.
No, don't.
And I'm like,
Let's just say there's another.
oh God,
version
yes,
of this
give it to me.
avatar That has.
I want that sub.
You want that meat in your mouth.
The thing was
Yeah,
that damn
I
tall.
like that.
That thing
I
was
can
that damn
imagine.
tall.
Are you streaming right
A
now?
foot and a half long.
There's another one.
And, you know, we can only eat maybe a quarter of it. We could eat maybe a quarter of it right there. So we're like, all right, guys, let's start heading home. You know, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Let's head home. It took us 14 hours to get home because we just did a straight shot instead of stopping for anything other than gas. It took us the entire ride home. By the time we got home, it was a little bit of a cold cut sandwich left is what it was. It turned in from a hot, perfect sub to a small cold cut by the time we got home.
My God.
Oh, you're being attacked. You have to stab.
I mean, I got a few more. I got a few more stories like that.
Speaking of
Tell him about the
adventures on a
meth
bike.
tits. Tell him about meth tits.
Oh God.
How do I activate this thing again? I have to check.
So,
There we go. It's been a while since I used my VR.
they're closed. I get there at 4 p.m. Usually they're open at 4 p.m. or something like that. There was a sign on the front that says, "Family emergency closed today. Will reopen," and put the date for the next day at 11 a.m. And I'm like, okay,
It'll only come out
So-
later.
I'm figuring out, fuck it, I'm here. I'm gonna camp off the back of my fucking
We'll
bike.
slap 'em across
So
the
I'm
face.
sitting there. A couple of times a cop passed by. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, waiting on them to open up. He's like, "You know that's not gonna open up till tomorrow." I'm like,
He likes being
Yeah.
degraded and treated like a dirty slut.
he thought I was biker trash because, you know, fucking vest with my patch on the back of it and everything. And he's like, "So, what do you plan on doing?" He's like, I'm like, I'm just gonna
What?
stay here all night, you know? Like,
Yeah?
I can't really have you here all night. I'm like, he says I can't have you in the same spot all night.
Eat you instead,
So,
actually.
my smart ass took my bike, picked it up,
you
moved
see
it to the
River tried
next
bribing
spot
me,
in
by the
front
way?
of me, the next parking spot
No,
in front of me,
River
set it down, and looked at the
I
cop. He
seen
goes,
it. You tried to
he just
bribe
looks at me and
her.
goes, "Okay, smart ass,
Okay.
I'll be doing this all night. Every time you come by and tell me move spots, I'm just gonna do that. Or you can just let me rest here for the night. How do you want to do this?" He goes,
Fuck, bro.
"Fucking biker trash," and then he takes off. He knew he lost. He knew he lost.
That way?
Yeah, you outsmarted
So-
him at his own game.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there all night long. I barely get any sleep. I'm dying to get some of this sushi.
I said that way.
And finally, 11 a.m. rolls around after dealing with the cops all night. They're like, "Hey, man, you can't be sitting in the same spot. Back the bike up to the back."
I
Now,
know. It's
Oh, they
okay.
got so pissed off. They got so pissed off because I knew my rights and I recited constitutional rights and state rights and everything. They hated me. So the next day rolls around. Here comes that Asian guy. He comes around the corner and he just sees me. First thing he probably sees is my pistol on my hip. And then he just sees this big old biker dude tattoo on his arm. I look over him like,
Yeah.
"You the one who owns this
I
place?"
mean, all we gotta do is.
He just gets scared. I'm like, "Hey, oh, I'm not calling you for trouble, man. I saw you on YouTube. I want to come eat." He goes, "YouTube?" You- It takes him a minute. He's like, "Oh yeah, the guy, like a guy had filmed the video like 2 years earlier." And he's like, okay. He comes, he unlocks the door, and I'm sitting there, I'm waiting outside for him to fully open and everything else. He opens up the door, or he opens up the stall, because it's one of those, it's like in the side of a building, you lift the canopy up, and there's a restaurant that you just have chairs out front of.
Oh yeah, I seen those.
Yeah, and
See, the fact that it had
I'm
that
sitting,
many
and
times
I
just means
order.
you're getting it worse on-
I ask him
on the
what's
next
good.
couple
He
weeks
goes,
here.
"Everything good, everything fresh."
You only have, what,
Because he waited for a truck to pull up and deliver him fresh fish before he fresh ingredients before he opened up.
I'm too afraid to.
And I'm like, okay. I wound up having a shrimp tempura roll, and I wound up having what he called the rainbow platter. It had a little bit of everything on it.
You deserve this. You
Ooh.
deserve all of this.
salmon
yeah?
salmon sushi, nigiri, a couple of rolls.
What are you trying to say?
Yo,
And I'm just like, okay, I'm sitting there, I'm eating it up.
Wow.
no problem. You have a good night.
My girlfriends should be the only thing that matters right now.
But at the end of it, I'm sitting there, I'm fat, I'm happy. I'm like, oh, I can't eat no more. And he brings out this little deep fried ice cream that he just gives me. I'm like, okay, I can have a little bit more.
Deep fried ice cream? Is that even possible?
Yes, it is.
The Japanese have found a way to do it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
And Mexican.
It-
The Mexican restaurants can do it
I haven't
too.
tried theirs, but I know
It's
the Japanese
gross.
did. It was a strawberry. It was a strawberry deep fried ice cream. But this was just his gift because I told him I came from Georgia. He didn't know where Georgia was, so I had to show him on a map. Like, you recognize this? He goes, yeah, this is this area here. I zoom out and show him where I
Gonna
come from. He
spend
goes,
the
you
next
came that
23
far?
hours with
My-
each other.
Yeah. I told him about
Yeah.
camping out in front of his restaurant the night before.
Blue only got an hour before
And
he started
sure enough, he,
crying, so
he
you
gave me the
know,
ice cream for
just,
free. My meal wound up costing like $40-some. I give him $60 so I can keep the change. And he's like, why do people do this? Why people do this? I had to explain what tipping was to him. And tipping because tipping in Japan is very rude. Tipping in America is a great is
Anyway, have a
showing
good time,
that you
Blue.
have great
It's good
service. It's a
seeing
great
ya.
compliment. And I had to explain that to him. He's like, it took him a second to understand, but he finally got it.
Cute plush puppy.
The final brain cell. Mi niño. Mi
Yeah, go on.
niño.
Alright. But anyway, okay.
I have one brain cell left and it's fighting itself for 6th place.
This actually happened a couple weeks ago. This is Meth Tits. I'm riding through this area and I come up on this very famous. It used to be a Waffle House. Like, this lesbian couple bought an old Waffle
I went
House.
upstairs looking for you, Phil. Upstairs to the secret room. I told him check there. May and them, they're looking for you. Go to secret room.
But anyways, I pull in, and as I'm going in, there's this woman who looks like she had never seen a hit of meth she didn't enjoy. I'm like, okay. Now I have to walk with a cane. I have to walk with a cane because I'm disabled. I'm sitting there and I'm walking. And she's like, hey, handsome, how's it going on? I'm immediately done with her shit. I know exactly what's going on. I just look at her. Hey, thank you.
He's not in the secret room.
And so I keep on walking. And she's like, I see you riding motorcycles. I stop, look back at my bike, look at Methany. Methany is the name that I call any woman who's been on meth for any amount of time. Because I've never known a Stephanie who is any kind of a pleasant person. And then you add meth to it, that's just, yeah, I call them Methanies. So I'm just like, okay. She's like, hey, I see you riding motorcycles. I look back at my bike. I look at her and go, no shit. Thanks for noticing. She stops me as I'm trying to take a step. She goes, I haven't been on the back of a bike in a while. I'm like, that sucks. Well, I'm really hungry, so I'm going to go inside and eat now. Have a good day. Trying to be polite, but very clearly hinting, I want this conversation done. So I go inside, I sit down at the bar, and I'm talking to the owner, and she and I are talking. I'm like, I'll have a Miller Lite draft, and I ordered my usual, which was a garlic steak, a triple or a double garlic burger, with the order of seasoned waffle fries, because waffle fries are better than regular fries. I'll go to war on that.
I have to agree with you.
I agree. Yep. And I'm sitting there and I'm
Hey,
talking to her. I'm like,
Alabaster.
what's that woman out front? Hey, Al. And I'm like, what's that girl out
Spike is
front?
telling
She's
one
like,
of his
oh,
famous
she's
stories.
still out there. If she asks you for a ride, do not give her a ride, because she's just looking to get to her dealer's house. And I'm like, I kind of figured as much. I wasn't going to give her a ride to begin with. I sure as fuck ain't going to do it now. I finish up the burger. I pay for my food. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get going. Y'all take care. As I go outside, I don't see Methany anywhere. So I'm like, okay. I put my cane on the back of my bike. I throw my leg over the bike. And then all of a sudden, I look to my right, and she's pulls up her shirt and flashes me and says, "If I show you these, will you give me a ride?" I'm like, "Oh God!" These things are bruised, saggy. These look like titties that have been on meth their entire life. They look
Oh,
no kind of pleasant. These were
God.
disgusting. I recoiled. I'm like, "Oh God! Put those away."
Ugh.
About that time, the woman who was serving me comes out with a baseball. She's like, "Damn it, woman! I told you, get the fuck off our property." She takes off running. Nearly gets hit by a car. She's crossing the street. The car barely stops and doesn't hit her. And then she takes off into the woods across the street. I look back. I'm like, I just shake my head no. She goes, "I'm sorry, hun." I'm like, I'm going home. I'm going home. I just get on my bike and I get the hell out of there.
How good was the burger?
See, my
Scale of 1 to 10, it's a good 8.5.
What was wrong with it?
Nothing was wrong with it. It's a great burger.
Mm.
I mean, it's just not a 10. I've had burgers that were 10s because, I've been to like Chicago for burgers and stuff. I've been to New York for burgers.
You should
Don't
you
recommend
should
ever
come-
going to New York City.
you should come to Massachusetts.
That's on the itinerary for one day. We've talked about this. I plan on doing that one day.
Especially because I told you about that burger place that has that giant stack burger.
Oh yeah, I gotta try that. This is my niece, Alabaster.
I'll tell you about
It's in the
this.
Anyways.
This burger place is in
Oh.
the Boston Harbor. You get 12 stacks of burgers with cheese, or without cheese, your choice. You get one bun on
Oh,
top, one
Spike.
bun on the bottom. You get a large skewer, a pickle.
I'm gonna
And
be getting my
also-
Class M soon.
You get
Oh,
2
hell yeah,
pounds
dude,
of
pound it.
French
You taking that
fries.
class? This is pre-COVID, mind you. I'm sitting there and I'm riding through I decided to go for a ride. I live in North Georgia and fuck it, dude, I want a good long ride. So I'm hitting the back roads and about 6 hours later I find myself a little north of Atlanta in Macon, Georgia. And I see this nice little burger joint on the side of the road. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop here. As soon as I pull up, first thing I get off my bike, and as I'm walking up, first thing I notice is there's a couple outlaws right there. They got the 1% diamond on them. I noticed them I noticed
Oh,
the
shit.
patches right about the time they noticed me. I'm like, hey, if this is a club thing, I can fuck off. Like, nah, dude, come on in, you're good. This is a mom and pop shop. We're just showing support. I'm like, sweet, okay. I go in, and there's a guy named David behind the bar. Everybody called him Dave. I walk up, I sit down at the bar. He's like, hey, motherfucker, what you want, man? I'm like, okay, it's that kind of place. Let me get a fucking beer, and I looked at the menu. I go, I'll have a mushroom Swiss burger. His wife was manning the
shit.
grill behind him. She goes, I forget her name. Her name started with a D. I'm just going to call her D. He turns around, hey, D, this asshole's wanting the mushroom Swiss. You want it as a double or a single? He goes, I'll take a double. He goes, make that a fucking double. He hands me there. He goes, hey, wait a second. I ain't seen you around these parts before, have I? I'm like, first time here. He goes, well, motherfucker, this is a great fucking place to be. You cuss me, I cuss you. It's all in good fun. Don't worry about it. Hey, D, we got a new guy. Now, take in mind, these two are in their 50s, and this woman is a gorgeous woman. She turns around, looks at me, and goes, hey, new guy. The most beautiful set of tits I've ever seen in a woman in her 50s. And she just flashes me.
God
It's like,
damn.
welcome.
God
I'm like,
damn.
I lift the glass of beer. I'm like, hey. Everybody at the bar's like, hey. Right about the time she covers herself up, the outlaws come in. It's like, do we miss the tits? She said, you missed the tits, sweetheart. And we're all like, God. And the two guys, the smaller guy slaps the big guy on the shoulder. It's like, I told you he was new. I told you we should have followed him in here.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And the guy said,
That's
I hit that
amazing.
every night.
Yeah, he looks at me, he sits there, he smiles, he's nodding, he goes, yeah, I'm hitting that every night. And what she said next made me go, wow. She looks and goes, yeah, and I walk funny every morning because of this asshole right here. I'm like, oh, damn, okay. Bikers, we don't give a fuck.
Burn, burn, burn.
I'm guessing you're on PC, but you don't have a headset attachment.
I do have a headset actually. It's just I'm lazy and I don't get in it often.
But how you been?
Eh.
Treason.
Silence.
I don't know.
So, Feathered Fox, do you have a lot of lore behind your
You gotta figure out
character?
yourself. I don't give hints.
Or like,
Mm.
what's your persona's name?
Oh.
Prefix, the same thing.
You're very pro.
Fair enough.
Sandra,
You know
alright?
what?
Yeah.
That's the same thing as me.
I'll give you
Yep.
you can call me off. Alright?
I could tell you guys a pretty dumb reason to get kicked off a Discord server.
Good words shall be pineapple.
You
Like-
know what? I also have a dumb reason, but go for it.
A bit of chaos.
Okay,
Don't tell them out.
this Discord server was a furry
I
server,
heard that.
and everyone
No, you didn't.
was having a
Plug
debate
your ears.
on
Hold on.
villains. They can
Hold
never
on.
be redeemed. I told them that villains, they can be redeemed. Like, I even pointed out how villains can actually change and everything. From Batman villains and everything, they were able to change. They say, "Oh, that's nothing." Hang Then I gave off my own example from one of my stories that I've written. And they kicked me out of the server.
No, I have proof.
Like, they blocked me completely.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I'm a scorpion.
It is a tank.
We shall go fight the Great Bean War.
I'm good and I ruined it again. Completely.
Shrink that a little bit, Prefix. You're taking up a lot of space.
I don't want to go to prison. That mug
The
There you go.
toes fluff
There you go.
when I
Alright,
move.
she had it coming. You know?
No step. Oh my
I
word.
recognize that tank. Where's that from?
Halo.
Halo 2. This is
Halo.
the
Oh.
Scorpion model from Halo 2.
Yeah.
And it shoots.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
I made a Taco War mascot. This is Taco.
I got another story for you about my this is about my vest.
Damn.
So I just got off my bike. I'm at a local grocery store. I got my vest on, and a couple of outlaws, a couple of young
can
bucks
see
come
it,
up and say,
actually.
"Hey, what are you doing with that
No,
patch?"
yes, I know you can
My-
see it.
I can't.
They
I'm
can't
on
see it.
standalone.
Okay,
at
it's a
this
couple of
moment
kids.
due
I'm gonna have to-
internet being
Imagine
I'm gonna have to
slow.
educate 'em. Like, it's just a novelty.
How dare you?
You wait your ass right there. I'm
when
like,
I move
Your cheeks
near
are
you,
Y'all don't want
I'll
this.
have-
Good food, right?
here comes a friend of mine, an old one of their older guys. You know, they're sitting there talking amongst themselves. The old guy comes up, parks next to him,
Yeah.
and I hear him. You know, they're whispering. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing over here? What are you whispering about?" Like, we're trying to figure out what to do with this guy. He looks over. He's like, "Hey, Spike." I'm like, "Hey, T-Bone."
Face fuck it, then.
What-
Almost
what are
said, boy.
They messing about. They're like, they're
What?
going on about my vest.
Alright, here we
Hey,
go.
man.
Like,
Manzi.
the dragon? Yep. Turn around, show it to him. He
Sam,
looks
hey,
at him and
Sam,
goes, "Go on
Sam,
inside. You're
Sam,
good. Don't worry about it."
Mwah, ha.
And as I'm
Uh,
walking away, he's like,
I'll get you back.
I
over.
hear him cut into
No, you
these
won't.
new recruits.
I
Like,
might join the
unless
channel
he
and say,
has
like, this for a second,
rockers
just
and is
like,
rocking a
that's awesome.
club, you leave people the fuck alone. We don't need that kind of publicity on us.
Fly away.
Just let me
And he
know if you
starts
do want
tearing
to see
into
me.
him. As I'm walking through the store, I see them. I just give them a hello nod, and they're all just kind of glaring at me. I look at them like, "T-Bone?"
I don't know what this is. Alright,
He
bye.
goes,
Just
they're leaving you alone. I'm like, "Well, they're staring me up pretty hard. Do I need to take them outside and teach them a lesson?"
I'll eat you first.
The two kids just kind of look at each other, and they look back at me. They look at T-Bone, and he goes, "You kids, despite him being crippled, you don't want to fight this man. And you'll have no backing from the club if you decide to pick a fight with him. If he kicks your ass, he kicks your ass, which he will. Y'all leave him the hell alone. Quit eyeing him up. You can't take him." A couple young bucks, about 22, 23 years old. They're rocking the
curse.
Does it grip?
prospect patches.
Yeah.
Is it volcanic? Does it smell like
Whoa.
And he had to cut into him, let him know what was what. And I told him, "Dude, I'm getting ready to kick their asses. They keep staring me down like that." And he goes, "Go right ahead." They back down after that. But anytime you see me, usually I'm wearing this.
No, will they?
I can.
But there was a
I got you.
Couch is in the way.
the not president, but
It's a
it was one of the
modern
nomads
alternate
from
coffee table.
the Outlaws came up and asked me what happened with T-Bone. I'm like, I don't know. I just got a text saying that I needed to get to the hospital. He was in a wreck from his old lady. They found out what happened, and you know, there's nothing they could do. Like they come up and they're like,
Can.
Well,
"Hey,
have
we don't
fuel
usually ask this of people outside the club, but would you be one of his pallbearers?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I would. He was a good man."
Wow. What did
Well,
I?
that's right.
I'm being a bro. I'm
Because
being attacked.
usually it's
Oh yeah.
So
how
with
they're-
5 other outlaws,
I can only boot
I
you as
I
the
helped
sub
him. I helped carry him to his final resting place.
Cage the wild animal.
Right before they lowered the casket, I just walk over and I put a
I'm completely
little tiny
How do
flask
you
of his
realize
favorite
still in the
whiskey in there with him.
You
Oh,
like
dude, right
I
there.
don't
I'm
see
on
the wolf in
Quest.
I wasn't the only one. There was
Oh,
people
yeah.
that were people that were
I know you're
putting
still in the
silver
cage, 'cause every time
coins
we
in
put
there.
a
Some
wiener
people that
between the bars, there's something
putting
wrapping around
flasks
it.
of whiskey, and I walked over there and I put that bottle in there with him.
A nice form of a nice form of
Oh, yeah.
respect.
Does it like see
Yeah.
through go down? This is great, right? There's this thing on Gumroad. It's called the.
I remember
Jackal
one
Seat,
time I
and when
was
you're
riding. I
out,
was
you
going.
can
This happened at the
grab
beginning of
somebody,
2020.
Right.
Bit
It's
of a
like
creepy
player
story here.
pickup, but for every model.
I was
Yeah.
riding up,
Then you can
riding into
transfer
Alabama to go for a bike
through your
weekend.
Menu.
I decided, you know, I'm gonna get there.
to
I'm gonna get there Friday
wherever,
morning.
your paw or
So I
wherever
leave
your
Thursday
next,
night.
like Jackal Seat is. You
As
can
I'm
have
riding through
Wolfie sticking
Alabama, I
out
can
of your
smell
mouth
it.
if you
I can
want
feel it,
to.
the rain coming. I'm
Or
like,
just
oh
sitting
no! I look ahead of me and I see it coming my way, and it looks like a terrible storm. I'm like, fuck, nope, nope. I get off the next exit,
Ask Richard.
and
Richard
right
is
across the
having
street,
dark rat
the only
too.
thing I saw was an old warehouse. I'm like, maybe it has an awning or something I can camp under for the night.
Leave him alone. That
I get
dude
there,
is
there's nothing around
fine.
front. I
That's
go around back,
character.
and there are 5 bay doors. The
We
very
might
end
find
door is
one.
open, and it has a concrete
Yeah.
ramp going up to my. Yes.
How about
As soon as I get
Really
into
put that
that
tongue away and
area,
put it
as
to
soon as I get into
use.
the warehouse, the fucking bottom drops. It starts pissing rain,
Tongue
and I'm like, okay, well then.
You lucked out.
That's the kind of noise
Yeah.
you'll be
So
making
I'm
on
like,
bacon,
okay.
For sure.
I started hollering, hello, anyone here? No answers.
Am
I look on the
wrong?
ground. It's a very
Bacon, am I
dusty area. You know,
wrong?
every step you
Am I
take, there's
wrong?
obviously footprints. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be
Make sure
camping
he
here, but I need to
gags.
make sure there's no homeless.
He gives
Because
the
I really do not
gulp.
want to wake up with a homeless person with a knife to my throat. I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I got my light in my left hand, just, I check the offices, check the production area, check the warehouse, nothing.
I saw
Because
that.
you have
And I'm like,
beans in it.
okay, the only tracks that's in there are my tracks.
Facts.
So I'll go to my bike, I get my
I
tarp
saw
off my
that.
bike, and I
saw
kind of
that
make a
you
little
stopped
impromptu
and looked
lean-to,
at my
tie one
beans.
into the handlebars, one into the rear fender, pull it to, set a couple of rocks
Yeah,
down,
you really
put a
look
sleeping
at-
bag under there, call it a night.
You're really lucky. You
I
know?
get on my
You
phone,
have
I'm
nice
starting
beans.
scrolling my phone, reacting to stupid shit, and I'm like, that's funny, that's funny, yeah, that's cool. That cat video
Why
is
would
sweet.
you
Every
wanna
time
run
it-
away
yeah,
from
so
it?
About
like, you have,
11:30,
like,
12 o'clock at
every time you
night,
close him, he can just
I've
snap
decided, you know, it's time to turn it in. I check the weather. The weather's supposed to be gone by
like-
about
you like
4
your
o'clock in the
dog,
morning.
though.
So fat.
Plenty of time for me to get some rest and be up
You
for
bitch.
bike
I will throw
festivities.
you over.
Richard bought me
So
a
as I'm
bat.
sitting there, I'm laying in the
You
sleeping
went
bag, and
along-
all of a
no,
sudden
he
I hear
went-
footprints
yes,
walking
he
towards
went
me.
along with
I'm
it,
like,
though. No, you don't understand. I
okay.
accused him of making the bat
As quick as I
avatar, and
can,
he
I
was
get
like,
out, kind of hiding my
"No."
piece
He didn't
behind me
tell him it
because
was
it's a
dark
self-defense
rat.
tool. It's not
Why didn't
intimidation
you
tool.
tell me? Gonna
Light
eat
my
you.
left hand, I'm looking
Yeah.
around, I'm like, hello?
No, I'm going to
Anyone
throw-
there?
I'm going to hand you the bacon and he can eat
I
it.
don't hear or see anyone. I'm like, okay, listen, guys. I'm thinking it's some homeless people trying to mess with me. I'm like, listen,
Nah, he-
He tends to
obviously it's not
torture
safe
you
for me
and
to
it
be
counts.
riding right now, so I'll make a deal with you. You know, I'm not looking for any trouble, but I will make a deal with you. I started listing off some canned food that I had. I had some
Bacon
chunky
doesn't have to
beef
eat it.
stew, some
How
chunky
about you
chicken
just say
noodle
sorry,
soup,
please,
and
against
other stuff that I had had. I was like, and
Yeah, there you go.
I'll
There
leave it
you
here
go.
for
Get
you.
'em. Get 'em,
And I
get
even
'em.
sweetened the deal, an
Yeah,
unopened
yeah,
can opener, which I had one that I just picked up from the dollar
look at
store,
you.
not used, unopened.
Yeah,
I'll leave it here for you
Your
guys.
small
It's
tongue
all
up and down
yours.
the-
If you let me just,
Oh my god.
you know, I'm just looking to rest for the night.
Now
I don't
know
hear
can
anything.
him. I'll just
Yeah.
threaten him with you.
Okay,
That's
so I
beautiful.
crawl back into my little impromptu tent. No sooner do I lay down, I don't even get inside the sleeping bag. I don't even, the sleeping bag is all the way open. I don't even cover myself up. I hear footsteps running towards me. I'm like, okay, so it's that kind of night. I jump up as quick as I can, throw the tarp over me and my bike, light in left hand, not even hiding the fact I got my 45 now, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking around. I don't see no one. I'm like, check the floor for footprints. I look down. All around me in a complete circle. Everything from tiny little baby's feet prints all the way up to an adult's footprints and everything in between, completely circling my bike. I'm like, time to go. I'm out of here. Nope. I take off the tarp. I leave the tarp and sleeping bag. I just get the hell out of there. I'm sitting there and I'm fighting that storm. That storm had to be going about 50, 60 mile an hour winds, and I'm sitting there. I'm barely doing 40, getting pelted by rain and everything else. I got my visor halfway open on my helmet because I wear a full head. Getting the shit kicked out of me by the rain. I finally stopped about a couple exits down. I figure, okay, maybe this is good enough. There was a Motel 6 across the street. I go to the Motel 6, I check in. I am drenched, head to toe. You know, as you're riding, like right here at your crotch, like there are those little puddle of water that just accumulates right there in between your crotch and the gas tank.
Yep.
Yep.
As I stand up, it just flops out, and I'm like, damn it. I walk into the hotel. I'm like, I'm sorry about your floor, man. He goes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Come on over. What you got? He starts typing up things. I'm like, yeah, it's either this or that warehouse, so I'd rather have this. The guy stops typing and he goes, what warehouse? I tell him the story. He goes, you see the color just dripped from his skin. He goes, did you shoot at them? I'm like, excuse me. He goes, did you shoot at them? Yes or no? He goes, I go, no, I didn't. I was more focused on getting out there. He goes, good. If you did shoot at them, they would follow you home. I'm like,
I could understand, really.
what would have followed me home? What's in that warehouse, dude? What is going on? Like, I asked a few more questions. He goes, and he hands me a room key. He goes, your room is right over here. You can leave your bike in. You can leave your bike right there, so we can keep an eye on it. Be gone by 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, you're not going to tell me anything. He goes, I just gave you a free room. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, here's the weird thing. Here's the weird thing about it.
It was hard to keep
I went and I had a good bike week, but here's the weird thing. I can't, that exit does not exist. That warehouse does not exist. I tried looking on Google Maps for it because I told some friends of mine they were paranormal hunters. They wanted to go to the warehouse and set some equipment up and stuff. I could not find it on Google Maps. I could not find it all. I went by there. I retraced my route 5 times in one day looking for that warehouse. I could not find the exit.
Damn.
Man,
That was that.
All right then.
Like I'm sitting there and I'm kind of freaking out, and my friends thought I was messing with them. But after 6 months of me just being obsessed and infatuated with it, like they realized that one of them told me that it was probably a Fae trap that I just kind of fell into, and they were just kind of messing with me. And I'm like, I gotta find out, dude. I gotta find out. He's like, look, dude, just calm down. You don't want to look too deep into this. Just let it go.
it could be a
took a
glitch in this
dream.
world. It could have been a glitch in this
It took a
world.
dream. Like I had a dream that I was standing in the warehouse, and I kept seeing in my peripheral vision. I could never keep a clear eye on, but I kept seeing little people running around. Behind me, I felt a very large hand gently press my back, and I hear, "It's time to leave us alone now." And then I woke up.
Forget about it. If I do my process for this,
I would be terrified by
Yeah,
that.
Smelly.
Oh, I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared because I just didn't feel any malice or hatred. It was definitely
They
a
want-
warning, but the entire time, I never really felt in danger. Like even whenever the event itself
should-
was happening, I never
You
felt
should have
in
taken
danger.
your friends to that hotel that you went to.
Oh, I did. They wound up letting the guy go, so I had no way of getting in touch with him. They fired the
Man,
guy. For,
I gotta make you stink like me.
Okay.
so
man,
yeah.
that sucks, because that would have gave them some evidence to possibly try to find it.
I asked the people behind the counter if they knew anything about a warehouse a few exits up, and they're like, there are no warehouses in this area.
Oh, Sir Samuel.
I'm like, there's no carpet warehouse, an old abandoned carpet warehouse anywhere near here. They're like, we've never heard of anything like that.
I could do that.
I wish that... You want to know something? I wish Minecraft added in cicadas. Then that would have been so good.
No, they'd be fucking useless. They would be absolutely fucking useless.
They could be used as food source. Or compost.
No.
How about make them explosive? How about that? That sounds better idea.